Lake County School District 27 reading to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Approval of amendment to agenda items.
We have added 3 items to consent agenda 10.4, resolution 21, consent Washington Federal, and you try to these. 10.5, resolution 22, US Bank, and 10.6, resolution 23, Washington Federal.
Yes.
You think that?
It's just a removal of signage.
That's it.
Okay. And do you guys have anything that you want to add to consent for questions? Okay.
I move that we approve the agenda for February 22nd, 2016 as presented.
With the addition.
With the addition of
10.4,
10.4, 5,
I'll second. Okay, we moved in a second to approve the meeting agenda with the additions. All those in favor? Aye. Who seconded the motion? Amy. Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes.
I'll move that we approve the minutes for February 28th, 2006 as presented.
I'll second. Okay, moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Correspondence?
I have none.
Thank you. Public comment? Public comment? Okay. Reports. ASB report.
Quinn Roseberry's here tonight representing the student body for the report.
February was full of events at LHS and DMS with the following go-ons. February 8th through the 12th, the Student Council was put on a Winter Spirit Week and the theme was Harry Potter. Since this was our first year with this theme, there were a few hiccups along the way, but overall there was a lot of good spirit shown throughout this week. There were dress-up days such as Patterns and Blackout on Friday for the basketball games. The ASB sold Crush sodas for students' favorite Crush, and the DMS ASB sold root beer floats. Then on Saturday, the Harry Hawkins dance was well attended with about 120 students. Thursday of Harry Potter Week was the first annual Staff versus Senior Extravaganza. The seniors used this as a fundraiser and were able to raise over $500. The staff won in a very close matchup with the seniors, 52-50. Fun was had by all. On February 10th, the FFA took a group of students to the district leadership competition to participate in beginning public speaking, creed speaking, advanced public speaking, the co-op quiz, and the beginning parley protein. Becca Warner won first place in the beginning public speaking, with Kara Albertson taking third, and Megan Reese won first place going on to the co-op quiz, with Rennie Nider earning third. These students will move on to the next level of competition at regionals. Winter sports are almost wrapped up, but the girls' basketball team is still going strong. They played a great game against St. Mary's to secure the number 2 spot in the league, but then went on to beat Illinois Valley in a tough game to lock in the first spot instead. The girls play along this coming Saturday at Portland Adventist. A win there puts them in the state tournament at Coos Bay the first week of March. While this past weekend, our high school ski team girls got first place. And then this next few weeks they have their state meet. There are 8 wrestlers that will attend the state tournament this coming weekend in Portland. Lakeview had district winner named Eddie Murrieta, who is going to lead them at the state tournament. Spring sports start in about 1 week. Finals went well at the end of January, and now we are well into the second semester.
Thank you.
Welcome to second week.
I wasn't being sarcastic. Do you have any questions? Put her to the test a little bit. Thanks, Glenn. COIC instructor introduction.
Well, we're pretty lucky to have COIC for our students. It's an alternative education. A lot of kids down there, for whatever reason, are getting their education down there, maybe in a GE track or credit retrieval. But the success of the program is really due to these guys. These 2 guys have a dynamic program down here. We're having one of our best years ever, and it's due to these guys. And so I'm going to let Ted Wilton and Jeff Samples talk to you about their program and what you got going on.
Go ahead, Ted.
You stand?
Sure.
Thank you. It's been a great year thus far, in light of the fact that I'm a newbie, brand spanking new, got here in June, taught summer school, and discovered that the community really is all about the people, and I really enjoyed the students quite a bit. And obviously we work with disadvantaged, at-risk youth, and with a small classroom, right now we currently serve 15 students. You get to know these kids, and you get to see a side of them that maybe other people don't get an opportunity to necessarily see and interact with. But at any rate, it's been a great startup, and I have to give all my thanks and to a couple people, Steve and Jeff Samples. It makes it easy to have people that kind of have a pathway that's already been established for you. So it's been a great start up to the year for us. Just an overview of what it is we do. We serve students, and we don't necessarily put them in front of a computer, because these are at-risk youth. These guys are going to lose their interest in 15 minutes. I lose mine in 10. And so I direct teach. And I direct teach English, social studies, health, and PE fitness. And in that, the whole issue is teaching these kids how to learn, how to understand the fundamentals of learning. I mean, literally. Why do you take notes? What do you do with the notes? Where do you put your work when you're finished? Just, you know, the actual game plan of learning. And now you walk in there, and I always have current events on the board every day. And the first thing these kids do without me saying a word is they grab the current event sheets, they sit down, they write it down, and then we all just sit and talk about it. So these are some really good kids that make not such good decisions. And hopefully, you know, we're also trying to integrate, but besides education, mentorship, and contributing positively into the community. We fundraised $1,500 for the UCC tragedy, and we couldn't have done it without Steve's help. And I'd say 100% of these kids have never done something where they've given back to the community. And there was a lot of pride involved in that. And they felt really good. And that's the whole purpose of being an asset to the community. Besides helping the community, it makes you feel good. And the kids felt great. In addition to the discipline and the structure of the school that we have, we're also integrating other things, such as they're part of a pen pal writing system with at-risk youth, little kids in LA. I know a teacher out there. The kids love it. These are little 5th graders, and so all of a sudden these high school kids are like mentors. And they're always going, Ted, should I put that down? Is that okay? Right, that's okay. And so, you know, they're becoming a little wiser, a little more sensitive, a little more empathetic in their lives, and that's beneficial because ultimately I think we want them to be positive contributors to Lakeview. We want them to be successful adults and parents, and maybe break the mold of some of the disadvantaged families that they come from. And that's our role. And they make them show up every day. We want these kids to show up every day. Their attendance is pretty darn good. Our fitness program is close to human rights violations. They've probably done well over 1,000 burpees since September, but their bodies changed. They feel so much something. I mean, they just feel better about themselves, and now they take ownership. They say, "Nah, dude, we don't want to do that like today. Maybe we should do 200 push-ups." And so it's nice that they've allowed us to, they buy into our program. And we're anticipating graduating 6 students this year. We've got 15 kids. Over the summer school, we had 12 credits earned. I can't even tell you how many credits are earned thus far because I have a no-fail policy. They have to show. I make sure all of the work is done. I grade it on the spot and give them feedback immediately, and thus far it seems to work. But that's just like one small part of it. This guy right here he's the legend, and with that, I'm going to sit down and let Jeff talk.
Well, I can't. Thank you, Ted. I'm a legend. I'm not sure for what reason sometimes, but anyway, what I do in my Jeff Staples, I run the work education program there. I'm the youth employment counselor, and I also administer the WIA, Workers Investment Opportunity Act, with the kids. So it's been, Ted has, we're so lucky to have him. I want to say that first of all. It's changed the whole atmosphere and the respect the kids have for each other and responsibility. Those kids are there. Kids that weren't showing up are there early. Like you say, doing their stuff. It's really amazing to see. And some of them come from, situations that they don't see that in their everyday lives. So it's hard to change a lot of that. What I do, I mainly, I run the school cruise, and I run the summer cruise for COIC. And right now we have six kids on the school crew. We've been out building a fence out of Roberta, and we built it Friday in the snowstorm. But all of those kids there, Ted and I, they know what is expected of them. So, they learn to be there every day. The responsibility of the job and how to work and how to get things done. We also help them, Ted did a wonderful job of mock job interviews and resumes and application processes and different things that the kids, everyday life stuff that they need, So the school crew kids, right out there's the county, we'll shovel snow for seniors or whatever we can do. I think tomorrow we're gonna remove old desks from. Was that you? Okay, so we got involved in a moving project here before this, and a couple of them, I think. We moved out to the district and stuff, but and all that stuff's really, good, just good experience. And community service, we'll help the seniors, like I say, we cut firewood for an older lady. We've a variety of things, whatever we can. The senior centers, we'll work with them. We have a list of people that need stuff done. So anyway, we have the 6 kids there on the school crew. They have natural resources, science credit, a PE credit, and a work experience credit also. And all these kids, they work 4 days a week with me, and then 1 day a week they're in with Ted on Wednesdays. So the requirements to be on the work crew is they have to get their work done, their schoolwork done. So all of them meet all this, and plus they get a $40 a day stipend for working on that. So, and now we have kids on the list waiting to be on work crew, where a few years ago we, had 2 or 3 that, and so that's really been productive. Well, last year we had 17 kids total in Lake County, but 5 of them were in North Lake, so we had 12 kids on our summer cruise. One supported by OYCC and Forest Service, BLM, and the other directly Forest Service. This year, the Forest Service really likes what we're doing, and so we're going to have 3 crews with up to 18 kids that we can put on different projects this year. Mainly funded by the Forest Service, some by the BLM. So that's a real big plus. That's a lot of kids there. So, and then we'll have a crew in North Lake also, 3 in Lakeview and 1 in North Lake. But we do natural resource projects, trails, fence, whatever. So and we also do the Forest Service put on basic fire plan classes, tree stand exams, stream flow measurements, different things like that, for the kids too. So that's good for them. Let's see, what is it? That's about covering the Lake County. We have a lot of partners. We work with probation, Lake County, Christine Collins. The county thing that they give us a shop out there first work in. ODFW, we're getting an agreement with them. Of course, you guys, the school district, ESD, and then KCC, we should have the GED, I guess, on the first date. Thanks, about next thing first. So anyway, and that's what I do. And then work experiences, paid work experiences. We've had a lot of success there. A few of them, one young gal, we did a paid work experience at the Eye Center. She graduated, worked there. Now she's in Medford, working at a doctor's office over there. Rennie, we did work experience at the vets, and so I think he's still out there working and wrestling and doing stuff. So it's been productive. So I think I covered almost all of it. And Ted and I working hand in hand and being on the same team. It's really working out good for me. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Well, the kids that are not on your work crew, you have 6. You have 15 every day, entire school day. So
We have, on Wednesdays, it's the madhouse, where every seat is taken. And it's quite a spectacle. But a lot of every morning, we have everyone, the kids get as much work done as possible as far as educational stuff.
Current event, and I'll go get lunch, the school lunches and stuff, during that time.
But morning's really busy, and then work crew takes off. I take the remainder of the kids, and we work until lunch, and then after lunch, it's Odyssey wear, and we have other kids come in then too. and I proctor them, and it's been a very successful year thus far.
And we work with even other kids that aren't on the WIA program, too, that, like, I think Matt Gar, we got him a work experience still out at the fairgrounds, so he could get some credit for that and stuff. So we're trying to reach out and do a lot of different stuff.
That's great. Kind of what we were just talking about with KCC, that we got to do something a little bit different to get these kids past 12th grade.
It's true.
Ready for.
They're getting a different way. Some of them just aren't comfortable in the high school or whatever, and so it's a good opportunity for them.
Do you have 9th through 12th grade?
Correct.
Okay.
And we teach them all the same: English, social studies, PE, and health. And it's kind of nice because some of the older kids kind of help with the younger kids, and it becomes pretty darn
We'll
successful.
even do, like, for credit retrieval, on say some dropouts or whatever, that may be older, at line, what is it, 19, I think, so, we'll let them come back and go to COIC and work with Ted, go ahead and either get their GED or their diploma.
That's great.
So.
Well, we heard very good things about you, so that Steve said, well, why don't I just bring them here? So,
Well, we appreciate you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, come tonight, gentlemen. Thank you for the good work.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Susan, EK playground update.
I just have a couple things to update you on. March 2nd, Mr. Cahill and myself will be going to the commissioners meeting to visit with them and invite them to partner with us in our playground project.
County Commissioner.
County Commissioners meeting,
Okay.
to see if they would like to partner with us in this project. So we'll make that request. We looked at our budget and we made the Cadillac budget, and now I'm gonna go back through looking at what we can live with. So I've submitted 2 of them to Janet and Will for them to look at as funding starts to come in and we start figuring out what grants we get and what grants we may not. And then March 8th, Melissa Maxwell has approached the Skelton, and I'll be going with her to do a small presentation for them during their lunchtime. And request funding for a project through them as well.
You did go to the commissioners for going on
March 2nd, Pete, we'll be going there. So those are kind of updates for the playground. Any questions about that?
We have a start date,
We wouldn't tell
gather the money.
school without, money first.
Just wait for
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's just like,
when talks, playground walks.
yeah, so, we're working on our bare bones and what we can accomplish in drawings for that, so.
Because we did put money in the budget last year, did we not?
And that's in.
I wasn't sure if it was this year or next year. Good.
It was there, or it was in this year's budget.
This Okay. Legislative session.
Okay, in your workbooks, starting at page 7, I've got these OSBA reports in there, and in a nutshell, the first one is the quarterly revenue forecast, and yes, the news is we're gaining, but we're not gaining at what I would call a very breakneck speed rate. According to the report here, so far in this recently in this legislative session, the forecast has been about 69 million has been plus for the general fund. The forecast for the next 2 bienniums, and I have it right here, are 166 million less for the 2017-19 biennium, and they're forecasting 150 million less for the 2019-21 biennium based on all economic indicators that they're looking at right now. If Mr. Nash has any extra news to throw in here,
That's pretty much it, you know,
But that's-
slightly larger the next biennium and then tailing off after that.
Yeah. Of course, looming large is the impact of PERS and the rollback on that Supreme Court decision, and how that's going to affect us. Right now, with that, the PERS unfunded actuarial liability is going to be 20 million that, you know, first paid districts and entities across the state of Oregon are going to have to make up. So I wish I had happy news to report on the economy. But the other thing that, of course, is affecting PERS, and you see it on the news every night here recently, is the falling stock market. And of course, that impacts PERS as well, because, you know, a lot of PERS funding is generated through investment. So, I wish I had a happy face for the second one report this evening. So, Mr. Nash, anything else?
Nothing
I figured we'd have some happy news, or
Nothing really hurts you, know.
So we're gonna have decline revenue and increase PERS
Yeah,
and minimum wage.
but we're getting to that in pretty quick, so. Page 8, House Bill 4057, and passed by a 55-0 vote. And basically it's tied to another bill you're going to see in here pretty quick, Senate Bill 1541. And what the thing does is requires the Oregon Department of Education to survey every school district in the state of Oregon as far as how we spend our money, you know, where the dollar is going to as far as our weighted ADM. I'm just going to jump over to 1541 and give you the detail because that really spells it out. Here. Anyway, those two bills are basically companion bills, and
Page 10,
yeah, 1451. Basically, it's going to do a complete review on expenditures in multiple categories, including instruction, support services, administration, transportation, business services. They haven't really said how they're going to roll that out or what that's going to look like, but basically that's what these two bills are moving towards as far as giving, you know, the legislature a sense of how we're spending our dollars out in the school districts. So, anything to add on that? I got you here, right? Lucky guy.
Yeah.
Okay, Senate Bill, getting down to Senate Bill 4130. Well, I've done a lot of research on this. I think it's still kind of a work in progress. It still has to go to the Ways and Means Committee. It's related to public records law and the typical citizen being able to access public records in a timely manner. What you don't see here, what I've researched is that basically, if you as a citizen go to the county clerk's office or come to the school district and you request public records, we have to give you some response in a 5-day time period. Whether or not it violates confidentiality or what the realm of exposure is to that public record. If we deem it, you know, as far as you being able to access it, then we have to provide it within a 30-day time period. Now, the financial impact in here, I have read through this time and time again. Have you read the financial part of that, Mr. Nash?
No, I have not.
You know, it says it's going to go to the Ways and Means Committee. It hasn't really spelled out what the financial impact is, what, you know, as far as where these costs lie and everything else. So basically, this particular bill is something I'll be researching on and I'll bring back to you. Right now, this is all the information I provided, which is very little. Senate Bill 1566. Well, the last school board meeting, we approved open enrollment to continue. We specified the parameters on that open enrollment. Open enrollment is back to the legislature again. It was to sunset on July of this year. The state legislature has expanded that sunset to July 1, 2019. So open enrollment is going to continue until July 1, 2019. And the legislature will probably take it up again as far as, you know, the wants and needs of the state and, you know, the agreement between districts and everything else. Right now, it doesn't have much of an impact on us, but you look at, I've talked with the superintendent of Klamath County, and, you know, there's been some issues between Klamath County and Klamath City as far as students going back and forth between those two school districts. And one district losing, you know, the average yearly membership to the other district. So it does cause some concerns in that regard. So, extended to 2019. 1537, we have the advanced diploma program, so this has added additional guidelines on this so-called 5th year. It's changed the weighted ADM to 0.75 per student, and basically it has narrowed it to identified at-risk students. One Chavez said today, I believe, would you say, down to 5 students here? What was your take on that?
Yeah, she's identified potentially 5
It has only one.
that would qualify that haven't applied for the promise, that didn't qualify for the promise grant. So,
As far as the connection to our district and the impact on our district, that's what it was.
and with the decline in the ADM, and with they're only going to reimburse at a 0.75, gives us very little wiggle room. Right now, we're able to supply books and everything they need. So it will definitely impact the way we budget for that.
Next page, unemployment benefit bill passed by the Senate. And when you read through these things, it'll confuse in the beginning, but the gist of this bill is that currently our classified employees in this district, are not eligible for unemployment during Christmas vacation, spring vacation, or summer break. This continues that wording as far as the ineligibility for classified employees to have unemployment. However, it does outline wording for unemployment for those employees who are terminated or left the district for, if they can show it, just cause. And basically that's the whole spirit of that bill. Questions? Okay, we've talked about Senate Bill 1541, minimum wage, passed on Friday, and it's a little scary for us initially when it first came forward. There was talk of putting the minimum wage all the way up to $15 an hour. We forecasted that the consequence of this district would have been at least $1 million to put that in place, as far as not only putting the $15 minimum wage in, but also changing all the salary schedules to meet that change as far as the levels of each employee where they fit in the salary schedule. What's happened with the legislature on Friday? The final version of the bill was passed. It's going to go to the governor to be signed. They developed this thing into 3 regions as far as phasing this bill in. We are in Region 1, and in Region 1, we're in with Malheur, Harney, Wheeler, Sherman, Gillum, Wallowa, Grant, Jefferson, Baker, Union, Cook, Klamath, Douglas, Deschutes, Coos, Curry, Umatilla, and Moyle counties. So basically what it means to us, starting in 2016, minimum wage, I'm going to just go across the years here as far as how it's going to ratchet up. Minimum wage would be $9.50, 2017, $10, 2018, $10.50, 2019, $11, and you see 50 cents each year. 2020, $11.50, 2021, $12, 2022, $12.50, and then up to 2023, up to $13. So initially thought this was going to be a pretty financially painful item that not only our district, but small businesses and districts across the state of Oregon were going to have quite a financial impact. But thank goodness, at least they did put some common sense into this, and it uses a little bit better on that. Anything to add, Business Manager?
No. Any way you look at it, it's not.
Yeah. So, questions on that?
When it starts next year,
July 1.
July
this year,
1.
what,
2016.
to $9.50? Up from where are we at now?
125.
Okay, the last bill in your packet is related to the legislature granting permission to speech language pathologists who are PERS to be able to be hired on the new district because there's such a shortage of folks in that profession. Right now, rural districts such as ourselves can't hire PERS paid employees as full-time employees, whereas the bigger districts cannot. But this completely opens that up, and this doesn't help us very much. if we're not having a bad enough time already, this is going to make it much worse. And Mr. Nash, who has to live in that nightmare world every single day, you can probably weigh in on that, throw a comment on that.
Currently, Lake County is one of the, by virtue of our population, we have 40,000, we're the beneficiary of that PERS exception, which helps us out in education and law enforcement. When they start throwing these exceptions out to the other counties, I think it's going to make our hiring process more difficult without a doubt. There's also talk that in the March session of the legislature next year, they will add school psychologists to this as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Good stuff. Talk to Dr. Gutierrez about getting a speech language pathology program.
I know what I was gonna ask you. You said Deschutes County was listed in our name here.
Yeah.
The Chutes is in Region 2,
That's
so
it.
they're not.
And, okay, we're in 3.
We're in one.
We're in 1.
Oh, I see, 1. They're in 2.
The Chutes is in 2,
Jackson must be in 2 also.
is also in 2.
Okay. So that's really immaterial. I'm glad I remembered what my question was.
So has our district provided any input to our representation in Salem?
I sent an email to Senator Woodson here a while back, outlining my concerns to him, and also the two Representative Woodson as well. And they, along with Representative Cliff Bentz from Ontario, I think they've been the heavy hitters as far as really, defending this part of the state, and like I said, it could by far have been worse, and managed to, keep it at this level as far as regions and states phasing this in based on our economic status.
I guess I was speaking in general terms about all of this stuff that we're talking about, not just minimum wage. It seems like with this truncated session, input is hard to get.
Yeah. We, superintendents in the county schools, we met last week. We meet once a month, and I'm grateful to Mr. Nash. Mr. Nash is setting up a session with us with Senator Woodson tomorrow on speakerphone. Myself, Superintendent Kerr, and Superintendent Wirtz, and Mr. Nash will all be on that call with Senator Woodson tomorrow. We have a long list of things that we're going to talk to him about, that we discussed from the last week. Anything to add, Mr. Nash?
No, it's just, the legislature acted on the minimum wage simply because there's 3 groups ready to take ballot initiatives to the voters, and the feeling was overwhelming that those would they not only get the signatures, but they would pass, and very likely at the $15 level. So when Mr. Cahill says that it's a bit of a good compromise for us, it probably truly is.
So is Portland going to be 15?
But the only area that's 15 is the Portland urban growth boundary. And then pretty much the upper Atlantic Valley is that second tier. Portland's going to go to what, 1475?
Yeah.
That upper Willamette Valley tier is going to go to 1350, and then we're in the group that goes to 1250.
Yeah, Portland 1475 by 2022, Region 2 1350, Region 1, which is of course us, 1250.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cahill.
So,
That cheery to start the session before.
yeah, just a ray of sunshine this evening.
With that, we'll go to building principal reports. It's up to you to bring up the mood here. Alrighty.
Well,
You're on. How are you on, Christmas?
we had a great assembly today brought in by the Lake County Arts Council. It's our second one this year. It was a 5-person brass band from Mexico City, and they just did an amazing job. And the kids didn't clap
when they encouraged when they set some ground rules. They didn't clap when they were done. They wanted to know if they'd done a good job for the kids yelling. And then they did some clapping, they did some yelling, and they just really got into it and had a great time. Very good. Very, very good. Our math adoption is complete, and we have chose to do a waiver and keep engaged in New York. So we've been working on that waiver with Mr. Cahill, and the staff is working on the budgets right now, trying to get those finished up this week, so we can start working on them and get them to you. Any questions?
Did you have a site council meeting? August 17th.
No, we have 2 site council meetings. We have a union site council meeting and a parent club meeting combined because that works best for those folks out there. And we talked quite a bit about the garden grant. We talked about the upcoming school carnival, the math adoption, Smarter Balance, and coordinating Smarter Balance. Tara Council go out and help the new teachers at Union with Smarter Balance. Testing should be on their own site because they haven't done a whole lot of it, so I asked that she be available during their testing period to help them. I discussed quite a few of the same things at the ADA Fremont Site Council meetings, with the exception of ADA Playground was kind of off the topic of that and how that would work. They are discontinuing our soup labels program, and so talking about how we wanted to spend that money.
The group isn't doing it, or the soup?
The soup company is not doing it anymore,
The
and so they sent out some notices letting people know, letting schools know they need to spend their money by the end of the year.
Well, that program's been around a long, that program was long around when I was in school.
Right, it's very
It was
long
like
time.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, in the Safeway, I just said yeah, that's stuff too, so.
We're still going strong, working on a little box house. Not a whole lot to report on site councils, but yeah, we have meeting every month. So, Fremont Hay is combined and Union's is separate. Other questions?
Quinny stole my thunder on the sports. But no, the game is set for Saturday at 7. It's Portland Adventist. So our girls are one of the hottest teams in the state right now. They're red hot, and maybe not quite as hot as our girls ski team, which won this weekend. They have a week off, a rare weekend off. Get ready for the state meet, which is in a couple weeks. So, and then our wrestlers, as Quinn said, 8 wrestlers, contingent that we'll have quite a group in Portland this weekend with the wrestlers and the girls basketball competing. Wrestlers compete Friday and Saturday at Memorial Coliseum. It's all the classifications, and if you've never been to a state wrestling meet, it's kind of like the track where they have 1A through 6A there. They have about 12 mats down on the floor. Continuous wrestling. It's quite a production. It's really a great opportunity for our kids to get up there. So we're excited about this weekend, and then as Quinn said, spring sports practice starts Monday. We took our avid group. We took 7 strong to Boise last Wednesday and Thursday. We visited Fairmont Middle School, which is a national demonstration school, and our teachers got to visit 12 classrooms, multiple subject levels. So I think it was a good experience. We sent this crew is not going to be involved in the summer training, so we're trying to get, our goal is to get every staff member some kind of a pathways or get out to a school or to a summer institute by the start of the next school year. So it's pretty ambitious. We received the grant, and the 3 of us are going up next week to what they call it's a Nike School Innovation Fund. It's where we the people that receive the grant meet in a 2-day workshop and then college and career readiness held at the Nike, the Tiger Woods Center on the Nike campus. So we're looking forward to that. And our site council meets Wednesday this week.
So who goes to the Nike?
Building principal, the site coordinator, which is Brandy, and the core teacher, which is Ruth Ann.
Okay.
It's good news for high school. The thing I was really excited about was actually the fact that Mother Nature cooperated. We're going to have a home meet for the ski team first in
Yeah.
Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
2010, 2011, was that the last time?
Oh, the last home meet?
Yeah.
We haven't had a home meet for, I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
Been a long time.
That's been a while.
That was good. Those
Yeah,
kids-
they are great.
Yeah.
But then
Beautiful day.
people got to realize what it's like to live in a small town area. The area opened for them on Friday, and most of the teams came and were here by 11 o'clock, and they skied all afternoon, and there were a lot of the kids asking our kids, is this like your private hill or something? And they're like, yeah, pretty much. There was a lot of jealousy going on in the weather. You couldn't have better weather. It was beautiful weather.
T-shirts.
It was t-shirts. It was nice. So we had a big bonfire in the park. Larson brought up a semi-load of pallets, and they torched those off. And I think there were a few parents came back and said, it's like a forest fire over there. I'm like, that's just like coming backyard burn. So it was a good time.
Good exposure for our
Yeah.
county.
So
Yeah,
many,
that's
so many great comments on the event.
Very cool. Thank you. The Avid stuff is. Any way we can. Is there any college level to the Avid stuff, or is it all? Could we get KCC? Is there any way we could combine those two things to benefit us? Is there any crossover there that you see that we could pursue? And
With Avid,
yeah,
well, you know, the Avid seniors, or with that senior group, is going to be taking a college and career readiness class. That'll do a lot of, we're hoping to get a dual credit out of that.
okay. I was listening to Dr. Gutierrez tonight. They definitely intersect in their in their mission. What he's trying to do and what Abbott's trying to do.
Mhm.
If it helps us,
I agree.
you never know.
Yeah, I think it does a very fine job of reaching that segment of the student population that, that he expressed his concerns about seeing.
Yeah, that's
That's why, I asked Mrs. Chavez to chime in and talk to him about that. And I think it's really good for KCC to hear what we're doing with that, so communication, I think we need to continue.
$2 million a month. At least he likes money too. He doesn't make any bones about that.
Yeah. He's in business,
He's a business guy. Okay, thanks. All right. Superintendent session report.
Well, what I have in here this evening is a letter that I received Friday afternoon from the Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction, Solon North, and trying to keep people on every Student Succeeds Act. And I'm not going to read his whole letter to you, but we continue to wonder, where Oregon education is going to head with, basically repeal of No Child Left Behind and education, the Secondary Education Act. That's now, of course, Every Student Succeeds Act. So basically what the Deputy Superintendent has outlined in his letter here is he has stated that he's exploring all available options, determining the most appropriate and best assessments available to Oregon students. This includes assessment options for grades 3 through 8 and development of balanced assessment systems at the state and local level. So that kind of hints to me that, maybe we're not totally married to smarter balance, that maybe exploring other options as far as student assessment goes. The other thing that he stated in here that I really want to share with you is, where this thing is going to move over the course of this next year is, and I've received an email from OBE in this regard too, they're going to convene work groups with members from across the state to address the following areas: standards and assessment, accountability, educator effectiveness, which is that Senate Bill 290 piece, and school and district improvement. So right now, Deputy Superintendent is, basically setting the path for where Oregon education is going to head this next year. As I stated before, year 2016-17 is going to be status quo with the same assessments, the same educator effectiveness piece, and everything else. It's going to be interesting to see what the whole year holds and what reforms come forward over the course of the next year in developing, the education system as it has changed from our childhood on. So that's my report on that. Interesting times ahead in Oregon education.
Good, interesting times. Good. Okay. Listening sessions.
Yes, you have a schedule, it's page 15 in your work packet. Rebecca scheduled these. Did you want to chime in and say anything about them?
I just wanted to be sure that these are all going to work for you guys before I send emails out to staff tomorrow. So I wanted to go in there and make sure everybody was kind of good to go before we move forward. And then I'll send emails out to all staff tomorrow, letting them know when these are coming up, and so they can prepare for that. Anybody have any conflicts that you're aware of? Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Did you check with Daryl?
Yes, that's the only date Daryl had available.
Oh.
I worked kind of around that. So we'll go ahead and move forward with those and just be mindful of the times because they're all 3 different. So if you guys can watch that, one's at 2, one's at 2:15, and one's at 3. So, and if something comes up, just let me know. We'll try to punt from there, but we'll punt on this one.
Will you send us reminders?
Absolutely.
That would be good. Okay. 2015-16 certified staff board member assignment reminder.
Beginning of the year, we went through, we set you up with teachers to go visit, hopefully once or twice during the school year. And just a friendly reminder, there is the list. There are your names and there are the teachers that we have you set to hopefully go visit.
And how did you want us to set those meetings up? Through the
They go
office?
to the building principal, maybe, give them a call, so.
And I think when we first talked about the list, there was an email sent out to teachers, wasn't there?
Let them know that you guys would be going around and visiting throughout the year, and not to be alarmed if you came in the classroom, and
I'm wondering where.
For principal, are you okay for them just to email the teacher and tell them they're coming?
I'd probably be better to go through me, that you just never know what schedule they have.
Yeah, we just CC us.
Very good.
Do we have another email? It's in that phone book. So we got that little email.
Should be in the
Okay,
district directory.
Okay, so Steve, you want us to go through you and Susan to CC go to teacher?
Yeah, I'm happy to set them up for you if that's easier. Sometimes they don't know that they have something that's going on that day, an IEP or something like that, so.
So maybe just go through you and
Maybe easy.
okay. I have not, I'll be first in and
Does it have you volunteer in the classroom?
Yeah.
Check on it.
yeah.
alright, there I go. I saw Cindy in the same way. That is
Seems like a great idea.
It's hard, I know, it's hard. Okay, thank you for the reminder. New business. Mr. Nash, I'm about to.
Welcome, Mr. Nash, here this evening, Superintendent Nash, to talk about the local service plan, which, of course, we met in this presentation that we will need you to approve. Had a good working relationship with ESG this year. They've provided what I think is a very good plan for the upcoming year and through Yakima. Mr. Nash.
This is an exciting, well, no, it's probably not exciting, but you might remember that it wasn't until very early June last year that the state legislature finally raised the revenue for the 5 smallest ESDs in the state, of which we are one of those 5. After about 13 years of our revenue being close to $1 million, they raised it to 1.165 million. So this allowed us really to, for the first time in 13 or 14 years, to make some fairly significant increases in our level of service. If you'll turn to page 4 in the local service area, you'll see in my message there I've listed 6 of the major. These are certainly not the entire list of things, but some of the more important areas where that new money was spent. We increased our special education services from 1.0 to 1.7 FTE, and actually it was Lake County District 7 was the major beneficiary there. Number 2, we increased our speech services from 2.3 to 2.85, and as we'll see here in a little bit, we've actually bumped them up for the coming year as well. We did increase our salary and benefits in order to keep it as competitive as possible. As I was whining about earlier, it's a little difficult to attract certain specialists to Lake County. So we try to keep our package as competitive as we can within the bounds of our budget. Number 4, we increased support for autism, occupational therapy, physical therapy, evaluation, consulting. And that is one of the main areas where the superintendents and I have had some ongoing discussions this year, because we continue to see significant increases in not only our overall special education caseloads, which, by the way, have increased 30% in the last 4 years, but also dramatic increases in all of our school districts in autism and other high needs specialty areas. We also increased our transfers for our construction and our auto funds. We have to put a roof on our building probably this spring or summer. We were able to buy a vehicle at ESD last year for the first time in 8 or 10 years. So, and then we also were able to resume our school enrichment fund, which isn't a whole lot of money, but as a former building administrator, I know how important that is. When the phone rings, Mr. Cahill knows this, that's through Steve and Susan. When the phone rings and you have the opportunity to bring in some type of performance for the students or take a field trip, if you don't have the money, that's kind of important. So anyway, if you want to turn over to page number 9, you'll see there the itinerant special education teacher that we're continuing at 1.7 FTE. We're really happy to partner with District 7 on that position. We think it's been a good thing for the middle and high school levels. On page 10, this is the one I mentioned earlier. We are continuing to increase our speech FTE. This coming year, actually it's not this coming year, it's really right now. As of the first year, we've increased it to 3.1. We hired a new speech language assistant up in North Lake, which is really helping us to provide more services. Over on the next page, page 11, you'll see the school counselors. That's staying static at 2.2 FTE. Last year, and what we're proposing for this year is to stay at the flow-through of 1 counselor position for District 7. Mr. Cahill and I have agreed to take a wait-and-see approach. The board probably remembers that over the last 2 years, we've reduced that flow-through from 2 FTE down to 1 FTE. We've increased our technology support to District 7. We've increased the school psych support, special ed support, and so we've traded that off mainly because counselors are kind of a non-traditional ESD service. But Will and I have really been talking about that this year. Kind of want to wait and see how the budgets shake out before we jump into another reduction in that area. We're going to keep things the same. Down at the bottom, towards the bottom of the page here, library support, we're continuing that. ODB is very happy that Lake County is continuing to provide certified library support. and supervision. And then over on page 15, you can see we're continuing to fund the audits for the districts and the communities. So, those are some of the highlights. Any questions?
We appreciate everything you do. ISD does a good job at this.
So you have an occupational therapist for the kids?
We, what we provide is if we have a student on an IEP that calls for occupational therapy, we don't provide the therapy per se, we provide the consulting. If it's Lakeview, we bring it out, usually out of Medford. If it's northern Lake County, we usually bring it out of Bend. But no, we don't have one on staff here at all.
I was gonna say, even the hospital doesn't have one.
Right,
I was gonna say, wow.
Charlie and I, our wish list coincide frequently, and we do talk about this, particularly when I was mentioning earlier the need for more support for autism. We are continuing to look at ways to try to bring in more specialists here, but it's very difficult. It is very difficult.
What about a sensory room? I know they're crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could start with one piece of the room and just.
Yeah. We're the only way in most of these areas, most of these therapists, these other things, the only way that we're probably going to be able to move forward is to partner with some other agency or business.
And we have one classroom that has a sensory area.
Oh, yes.
We do.
And so if the kiddo requires that, do they have to travel? You don't pay for someone to drive in from Bend or Medford, the kiddo travels out.
If it's on the IEP, they come over and do the testing and
Right.
consulting.
Yeah. It's mainly going to be evaluation and consulting and trying to support the local staff to work with the student. It's again, we do not have the economy of scale here to hire a specialist in those areas and bring them over.
And docs, sometimes it takes 6 months to get somebody to bring that to do. Consultation.
Any other questions? Motion?
Oh. I just realized that required. So I'll make the motion to approve the 2016-17 ESD local service plan. Approval
Okay, nothing
as
Stephanie.
presented.
I'm gonna chime in. Stephanie, I don't believe you can vote on this. You're a board member of the ASD.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Can I call for the vote?
You call the vote. You made a turn. Traditionally, probably the term's not supposed to vote anyway, so.
We have a motion to approve the ESD local service plan for 2016-17 as presented by Mr. Nash. And a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? And I abstain.
It's official.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
There, okay.
Thank you very much. Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Let's do a great job.
This is your office support. I believe we're providing treats to what was it, Tuesday of that week?
Tuesday, yes.
And principals are, I could put you on the spot today. What are you gonna have in mind as far as your buildings go? I'll put you on the spot again.
It's important to coordinate with our parent clubs at the elementary school because they really like celebrating these weeks and Teacher Appreciation Week. So you kind of have to you figure out what they're committing to. Lots of times it's lunches for the week on different days. So I'll fill in gaps with fun things in between the parents club and the district office. But at least every day of the week.
Do you know when guys are gonna meet again?
Pardon?
Parents club, do you know when they're gonna meet again?
I don't know the answer to that. They don't let me know.
I have no idea. I don't think we've met since October, so.
I haven't missed many. I haven't missed many meetings.
No, you haven't.
Anyone I'd like to read the resolution, so
We're gonna do a lunch,
okay, go ahead.
Friday the 11th,
Okay.
12:30. In the library.
I see that.
Okay, I think this is, very befitting of classified staff. Classified Employee Appreciation Week resolution, March 7th, 11th, 2015. Should be 2016, actually. Got that. Whereas education of youth is essential for the future of our community, state, country, world, and whereas classified employees are the backbone of our public education system, and whereas classified employees work directly with students, educators, parents, volunteers, business partners, and community members, and whereas classified employees support the smooth operation of offices, the safety and maintenance of the buildings and property, and safe transportation, healthy nutrition, and direct instruction of students, and whereas our community depends upon and trusts classified employees to serve students, whereas classified employees with diverse talents and true dedication to nurture students throughout their school years. Now therefore be resolved that Lake County School District Number 7 Board of Directors proclaims March 7th through 11th, 2016 to be Classified Employee Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved that the Lake County School District 7 Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join in this observance, recognizing the dedication and hard work of these individuals. Adopted this day of the 22nd of February, 2016. Anyway, great job, classified employees.
Okay.
I move that we approve resolution number 20, 2016 Classified Employee Appreciation Week resolution with our deepest gratitude for the dedication that our classified employees give to our students and our district every day.
I'll second. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. 9.3, January 2016 OSBA policy updates.
Okay, in your packets, you will see the next round of policies from NSBA. I'm presenting them to you this evening for you to look at them, and we will bring them back to a work session at the next meeting. Please go through, take some time to study those things and the changes that they're recommending. There are some policies there, one policy being deleted. So anyway, there's quite a number of subjects involved here. Board member ethics, nepotism, staff ethics, the sick time thing. That's, we've been hearing Jen discuss that with, sick leave for substitutes and coaches. Criminal records, more material on drug, alcohol, tobacco prevention, some information on special education, graduation requirements, assessment programs, flag displays, compulsory attendance, early entrance, admissions, public complaints. It seems like that, they recycle public complaint procedure over and over and over again. I think this will be the third time that I've brought you some form of policy since I've done this job related to public complaints. A number of sessions I've been to over the course of this last year continue to address that the public complaint procedure is an evolving work in progress, so we'll see where that takes us. And the last one, which really isn't too much of a consideration for us, but we do have to observe this policy in relation to public charge schools. So folks, that's what we're talking for the next meeting.
So I know I ask this every time, the gray highlight,
It has gray and red wording, that's the change.
what if it's just gray highlight?
Let's take it to page 7.
Page 51. So otherwise I have to go look at the
If they're
old.
taking it out, they strike a line through it, that's what they do.
Right, okay.
51 is the change, the gray, what you see in gray there is the added wording that they want to have.
Gray is added.
Yeah.
Strike through is obviously deleted, and then what's red?
Well, some of it is just red wording within the gray, and that's the change too. So if it's gray or red, that means that's the change. That means one striking out, then that's what's being struck out.
Gray's been changed, so would red be an addition?
Red is also a change as well.
That's fine.
51 is a pretty good example. You see they're striking lines there, they have the line through it. The
Yeah.
gray is the new wording.
Raise that. So if you go to page 96, I think that whole paragraph that's gray and with red writing, is that just all new?
Yeah, that's the new wording.
All new.
Yeah.
Okay, so red is new.
Yeah.
All right. Red is new. Got it. Okay. Let's see. Consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Announcements.
We have 10 4
Well, those were the
Those are
resolutions
for-
added to the consent agenda.
I got you.
They were down, if you go to the Adobe thing down here. That on the left. That's right. You just approved yourself to sign the checks as well.
I've been signing a lot of checks.
Maybe that's why she slipped them in and it wasn't on the main thing.
Absolutely.
No.
Whoever answers me first,
And this is
you
really
get
very
it.
silent today, as a matter of fact.
Are you sending out emails with the checks now?
No, I usually call or I text or,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'll get it.
If you don't answer your phone, you don't respond to her text, and she just gets it.
I don't do so well.
I will call your office.
She'll show up on your doorstep.
Yeah, checks in hand. Where are you?
The stack to whatever did you go over there?
I felt like that's like my lucky number was wrong every time. Every duty was said.
Well, I forgot to do a calendar for February, so I have a calendar for March, so when you get them there, just bring it on over, I'll sign you up.
Okay, announcements, we have any announcements?
Well, as I was walking down the hallways of the high school this evening, being a former ag teacher and FFA advisor, it's a great pleasure in seeing it was National FFA Week this week. So, I honor our FFA students, the great work they do, what a great organization, and my hat's off to the FFA to celebrate their week this week. So,
Very good. Okay. Next board meeting agenda item.
well, of course, as we discussed, we'll have policies, and the work session we discussed with Rebecca today will begin at 5:30. It's going to be a two-part work session, the policies, and also, as I previously related to you before, everything that I learned, or maybe not everything, but from that bonds and facilities meeting I went to in San Diego a week ago. I'm bringing a complete binder of materials around to all of you. I'm going to hand deliver that and for you to study between now and the 14th. There's a lot of great information in there. The pieces that I'm specifically going to spell out is the time frame to do this, the methods of campaigning, feasibility study, do we or do we not want to proceed with this, an analysis of our buildings and what the cost of a bond will be if we should we choose to go that route. And like I said, it was a wonderful session that day. I learned a lot from it, and like I said, I'm having a DSD print off a whole binder full of materials for you to look at. So.
What's the chances of getting that on a book on tape?
Well, if I I have time to go to, if I have time to go to the recording studio and put it out for you. Probably not too great at this time. So anyway, that's on my end, and as you recall, I believe we're bringing Brandon Harris back to, talk about the SWEP grant, the choice grant. And she was on the first meeting of this month, and the last meeting in January, I can't remember which, and she asked to be brought back at the first meeting in March. The rest of my colleagues in this room have anything for the next board meeting? That's my open dream, to have a good report from the county commissioners.
So maybe we'll put that on. Do you want board support there for that meeting?
Yeah, come on down. March 2nd, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Interesting time, 10 a.m.
Okay. That's Wednesday.
I'll be traveling.
I have that book on.
That would be good.
You'd be falling asleep and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you more sleepy reading all that stuff we're listening to me.
That's a really good idea. We could probably put that into our CTE. Teach you how to read a book on tape. Have a new mail order library. Okay, I'm tired. So, do I have a motion for an adjournment?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All those in favor?
Keep going.